Good evening and welcome to tonight, this 29th episode of the Hearthstone Half Hour. I'm Hammy from felcraft.org, and guess what? Hearthstone is live after the time that we have been waiting. I know that it's been open beta so everyone can get involved as well, but not to worry, now we are finally live. Congratulations to all of the team over at Blizzard. Everyone, the game is here. And what does that mean for us Hearthstone players, for you, whether you're new and you've just come in to find out what's going on, whether you've been around for a little bit of the beta and you know a bit about what's going on too. Either way, we are going to jump in and just go through news. There is so much news that has been dropping, some of it last night. Today is Wednesday, this 12th of March 2014, so we're going to jump through. What are we going to cover this evening? We're going to cover some of the things that have gone live with the launch of Hearthstone, some of the new unlockable rewards, some of the really cool earnables and collectibles that you guys can get stuck into. There have been a couple of card balance changes. That is where we're going to start, so we're going to jump straight in there with those as well, so you know the couple of card tweaks that have also happened. And then last but not least, we're going to go through all of the kind of cool little other tweaks and things that have happened as well. So without further ado, as we love to say, let us get involved as quickly as we can. And what is going on? You can see we've got a celebratory slate image with our good old innkeeper and his pet rat with a nice little medal. Drop everything, play a game of Hearthstone, and that is absolutely what we're about to do. So let's jump in, and first things first, let's go through the March 2014 couple of card changes that have gone live with Hearthstone's release. So what do we have? Change number one is a bit of an interesting one. Now I'm going to have to get into my crafting mode because I don't actually have this chap at the moment, but Tink Master Overspark has been changed. Now you can see that he has a slightly different ability. So previously, Tink Master Overspark's battle cry, and this is the important thing, let you transform a minion of your choice. And that is the important thing. Welcome to you guys just joining in on the stream. We're going to be going through the patch changes and everything to do with Hearthstone launch. So Tink Master Overspark previously used to allow you to transform a minion of your choice into a 5/5 Devilsaur or a 1/1 Squirrel. It was a random effect. So what does that exactly mean? The changes are, firstly, you can see that Tink Master has got a little bit of a buff in terms of his attack and health. However, this is to make up for the change to his battle cry. Now, Tink is a bit of a weird legendary. For those of you who are a bit newer to the game or who haven't played so much rank, you might have a look at him and think, well, his effect's random, even if I can actually choose the effect or the minion that this effect takes places on, then why is it so important that this guy's had a change? I'll tell you why. When you get to the sort of mid and late game, in particularly sort of constructed or ranked games, you see a lot of big minions, a lot of dangerous minions coming out of some form or another. A lot of decks will have some kind of big minion force in the late game to help mop up and to help clear things up. So what Tink Master would let you do is effectively neutralise a threat in some form or another. Generally, you're not going to be wanting to, when you had the choice, transform a weaker minion into a 5/5 Devilsaur or a 1/1 Squirrel. You would always be using that battle cry of this card on something of significance. So for example, your opponent has a Ragnaros in play. You know, a 1/1 Squirrel, of course, is the ideal result, but if it was transferred or transformed into a 5/5 Devilsaur, that wouldn't be quite so bad either. Yes, you would still have attack. Say, for example, there was a particularly nasty tanking minion. Say your opponent's a paladin and he brings out a Tyrian Fordring or something that not only has a lot of nasty effects, but also has that death rattle of bringing out the Ashbringer. You think of a nasty card that's legendary or that's a big minion that could cause you some trouble, and Tink, depending what deck you're running, of course, could be a very nice potential counter to that, and that's something that could drop actually into quite a few decks depending on what you're playing against. So that is the significance of this change. It has really taken away that targeted ability. Transforming another random minion into a 5/5 Devilsaur or a 1/1 Squirrel really weakens this card, it has to be said, and Blizzard did give some justification for this in the patch notes, and they effectively said in the patch notes that they believed that basically it was a bit scary, or by scary I mean that they felt that, you know, if you were trying to play a deck that was using a lot of big minions in the late game, or a deck with bigger minions in the late game, then it was effectively sort of, you know, shrinking big creatures, sort of silencing them, and really almost not preventing them being played, but certainly making it a lot harder to play them on a regular basis, or in a consistent way. And you know, for the fun of the game and for the accessibility of the game, the Blizzard guys, balance wise, basically think less Tink Master in the environment, or change that ability. There'll be more big creatures making it in the late game. He was in quite a few high level decks, so for that reason, that's why Tink has got that change. A little bit more attack, a little bit more health, but really it's the change around that effect, pretty significant. And as you can see in the card text here, it's recently been modified so you can actually get its full disenchant value. I do like that thing. Obviously makes it a little bit better in terms of card games than, for example, a real constructed card game or a physical card game, where in this case you'd pretty much be losing the value of your card because it would have been nerfed. At least in Hearthstone you can disenchant it and get something back, so the nice thing about a digital card game there. So that's card change number 1. The second card change that came out in this patch was to do with none other than everyone's favourite legendary World of Warcraft fisherman, Nat Pagle. Really, the Luromatic 2099 still in testing. I do love having a good look through all of the flavour text. There's some quite funny stuff in there. So Nat Pagle, what use did this card have? So again, Nat Pagle, if you take a look at him, now at the start of your turn you have a 50% chance to draw an extra card. So what's the difference here? Previously it used to be at the end of your turn you would have a 50% chance to draw an extra card. So one word change, and quite a bit of a change just in that one word, from the start of your turn to previously the end of your turn, now the start of your turn. So Nat Pagle, you can see that for his 2 mana he's got 4 health. If you're dropping a Nat Pagle on your second turn, possibly even your first turn, if you're going second and you've got the coin, for example, the Nat Pagle effectively you could play, and then pretty much at the end of your turn you get an immediate trigger, obviously if the coin flip is successful, and you get the 50% chance going your way. So that little tweak, basically early in the game, Nat Pagle with his 4 health is reasonably hard to take out for a turn or two. He can be removed from the table, but earlier in the game, unless you can take a couple of turns at him, or you're a priest and you've got something to remove him, you can't really remove him instantly quickly. Now, because his effect triggers at the end of the turn in which you play him, and then every subsequent end of turn afterwards, in his previous incarnation with that different triggering point, there was more of a chance effectively earlier in the game of him drawing some cards. So there are loads of cards out there, you know, in any card game, as we've mentioned in our previous casts, you want deck acceleration, and to put too fine a point on it, deck acceleration is just getting the cards out you want more quickly. So anything that lets you draw cards easily or more quickly accelerates your deck, and therefore that's a brilliant thing, great for a card game. Nat Pagle, as you can see, gives you deck acceleration, and not only gives you deck acceleration, but he gives you it early in the game at a point where it's quite hard to stop. So from that perspective, Blizzard basically wanted to reduce the power of this card a little bit. It's a subtle tweak, but because it's the start of the turn, if I drop Nat Pagle, I have to wait for my opponent to take one full turn before I potentially first get the benefit. So there's a little bit extra time if you're playing against a Nat Pagle to try and get rid of it, silence it, do something else with it. Whether it will drop out of a few decks, I think it might do. Things like, you know, potentially Warlock Giants. There are some mage decks as well, for example. They'd run a Blood Mage Thalanos, which had the death rattle of drawing a card. They'd run the Loot Hoarders, who also have a death rattle of a card drawn, Nat Pagle, loads of low mana neutral minions that would effectively give you really early game additional drawing power. So will Nat Pagle drop out of a bunch of those decks? It's quite possible, but there's still a lot of other strong options there. So what it's really doing is removing sort of one of those options. Okay, so those are our 2 card changes for Hearthstone's launch. Hooray! And this is patch 1004944. A number that means something to the wonderful people at Blizzard. For us, it's a number. It's a sequential number that shows us that changes are happening, and they're happening, and they are good. Fabulous. So So that is Nat Pagel himself, and they are the two card changes we have. While we are here, let's just have a little bit of a chat about the other changes that have come in. Now, several of these have been teased over the last sort of week or so, but now that Hearthstone is actually out, let's just jump into a few of the other changes that have gone on and explain them. So, in terms of ranked, one change is that when a ranked season starts afresh or restarts, then you will receive a bit of a star boost in terms of the amount of earned rank that you have, depending on how high you've ascended in the previous season. So here's an example. Say I made it to legend rank in a particular season, then when the next season starts, I might start at, say, there is a fixed level, I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but say it's something like level 20. So because of that, what it means is effectively what people would find was that when you were getting just first stuck into a new ranked season of Hearthstone, then you would very much see, as soon as you were starting at level 25, you could be seeing a really, really amazing player who's played the game for absolutely a very long period of time, loads of gold cards, really killer deck, as a new player wiping you off the table. Quite, discouraging, disheartening. And what this should do is mean that if you've been playing for a while, then you're going to start a bit higher up, you'll be playing harder opponents more quickly, you're not going to have to grind through the early levels, so if you're a more experienced player, that's a good thing. And it's also a good thing if you're a new player too, because what it should do is take some of the more experienced players, give them a bit of a leg up to start with, so that when you're playing on the lower sort of levels of the rank ladder and the rank system, so 25 to 20, you should be playing players that, to be quite honest, are slightly more your level and slightly more your experience as well. So it should work good both ways. So nice thing to see with that little ranked tweak. Let's hope that it makes everyone's play experience a lot more enjoyable. What else do we have in terms of patches? Right, you're going to have to bear with me just 1 second while I go through the plethora of images I've got lined up for you folks. This is going to be a little bit messy, so your patience is very much appreciated. And big pardon, I think welcome to those of you just joining the stream. And today we're going to continue going through the Hearthstone ranked patch changes and the launch patch changes as well. So first up, we've got Golden Heroes. How can you get your mitts on one of these Golden Heroes? It is pretty simple. All you need to do is win 500 ranked play games with any given hero. After you hit those 500 wins, your experienced hero will gain, according to the patch notes, a gold border, which you can see there and all of that beauty, and a nice little animation, and then also, as you can see in the corners of those emblems, a golden hero power as well, which is absolutely fabulous. There is actually quite a nice video that shows the effects for Jaina, Garrosh and Thrall. You can head on over if you like to failcraft.org. We've got that in a article on the Golden Heroes, so you can take a look at them. And the important thing is that I think, and I'm going to have to try and drag Hearthstone to the top of the pile in my little streaming list. Let's see if we can do this for you. There we go. Let's jump in and just see if we can see where we've kept track. I did see in the patch notes that it would say how many wins you've got and where you can keep track someplace for ranked. I can't see it right now. What I'll do is go back and find that for you, but we'll see where it is. So there is a way somewhere in the UI that you can keep track of how close you are to your wonderful goal of getting those 500 wins, which is brilliant. So there are your very, very shiny Golden Hearthstone Heroes. So get playing ranked if you want to get one of those nice animated things and bits of swagger straight in the middle of your screen. And a middle class, semi-middle class British accent saying swagger does not sound the most gangster. Let's move swiftly on. Next thing coming in, it is really, really good. So pretty. Absolutely agree with you, Anthony. Welcome, by the way. Just great to see you guys joining the chat. And you know what? Those gold things are awesome. Really looking forward to getting my priest one to start with. So the next thing we've got in the launch of all of this is the Hearthsteed mount. Now this was actually spotted by some very, very sharp people sort of late last year. In terms of, good point, Anthony, you need to win a game in ranked for the counter to show up. You're quite right, I've not won a game in ranked since the patch has gone on, so as soon as I win a ranked game I will get my counter towards my golden hero emblems. I'm glad that someone has been paying attention to the patch notes, maybe in a bit more detail than I have. Next thing, Hearthstone mount. So this was spotted, as we just mentioned, late last year by people having a little sniff through the World of Warcraft source code, and I believe it's ranked wins, or 3 wins in play. Sorry, it's 3 wins in play mode or 3 wins in the arena, as far as I recall. And then if you've got your Battle.net account all linked up, how you get the Hearthsteed for World of Warcraft, play those 3 games. If you're a new player, all you need to do is simply jump straight on in and play those 3 games after you've gone through the intro, and you can then jump into World of Warcraft and get your very own Hearthstone mount. So there's a wonderful description of it somewhere that I just need to have a little dig up of. It's absolutely awesome. Look at all of that shininess. Again, that's on felcraft.org, so I'm not going to read you out the patch notes, just straight over the top of that. But yeah, really, really simple for all of you mount collectors in World of Warcraft. We know you're out there, you're the guys and gals who collect pets as well. I wish I had the patience, but I will very much admire your collections with envy, as I'm sure that you absolutely love. But yeah, that's a really easy one for you World of Warcraft players to get. Simply 3 wins in ranked or play mode, or 3 wins in arena. Nice and quick to get. So along with the launch of Hearthstone, loads of World of Warcraft players out there will be really, really shiny and happy to get that Hearthsteed. The other thing as well, of course, is that it will encourage people, I'm sure, to come and play Hearthstone from the World of Warcraft universe. A natural crossover. It's Heroes of WarCraft after all, but it'll be really, really great just to get loads of people playing this really fun game. So let's tick that one off the list. Goodbye, Hearthsteed. Now the next one we've got as well, a really pretty cool change too. Again, for all of those collectors and hoarders out there, but generally just for a little bit of showing off what you've been up to. Blizzard, as we've mentioned before, are generally quite good at having cross-game rewards and similar. For example, pre-ordering collector's editions or pre-ordering digital deluxe editions, you'll get something for your StarCraft if you play it, something for your Warcraft, something for your Diablo, and Hearthstone is similar. So it'll be interesting to see for future games whether Hearthstone rewards are included with other Blizzard titles. But what we have here is the very, very shiny set, as you can see in the middle of the screen, of new card backs that you can get for a bunch of different things. Participating in ranked play, and it says participating, remember it doesn't necessarily say winning, so you don't have to be a Legend 1 rank in all of the world or EU or North America or similar to be able to get some of these. Some of them will probably be tied around ranks, some of them will just be for just getting involved, so everyone I think is going to be able to get something, which is always brilliant. But naturally for those who push on a little bit, grind on a little bit further, you'll be able to get some really, really nice stuff. So what do we have? I actually have a little list. It's not actually on the official patch notes, but these were announced on Facebook a little way back, so I'm just going to see if I can very quickly dig them up and see what was going on. There we go. I'm just going to pull up the article. Right, we can see firstly the normal card backs. So what have we got? Firstly, we've got this sort of green one. Where's the leafy green one? My goodness, it's not even on there. They've changed them again in this image that I've got in the middle of the screen. I think it's probably this one on the right hand side. So this sort of leafy green one, it probably doesn't come out too well on my screen colours on the right hand side. At the moment that is a mystery. We do not know what that is for. Moving then on to this sort of red one, the second from the right, that I'm sort of mousing over here. We can see that that is for just participating, it says, in ranked play. Just get stuck into ranked play and then you can get a nice shiny new card back there. And I'm sure, very, very sure, moving to this second from the left one, that is going to be the envy and desire for a bunch of people out there, particularly for you My Little Pony or Brony fans. I'm sure there are some out there. We can see the rainbows, we can see the clouds, we can see the hints of pink and all of the beautiful pretty colours. Who doesn't like a beautiful pretty colour in the back of a card? I'm sure that that's going to be popular as well. That is also a mystery. We have no idea what that's for at this point in time, but I've no doubt that as soon as they do announce what it's for, people are going to be all over it and wanting it pretty soon. Next up, we have this one sort of in the middle, third from the left, and that is actually the legend rank. Get legend rank and you now yourself that very, very nice exclusive card back to be enjoyed. And last but not least, there is this third from the right one, this sort of one that looks a bit more like an in-window, I think. If you take a look at the gold and the wood frame around the outside, looks a bit like stained glass, and that is apparently for participating in a special event. What that special event is, we just do not know. But that will be very, very cool to find out as well. So, new card backs, they are live. I presume the Legend one is live. I'm not sure about some of the others, but we'll very much look forward to collect some of those and getting stuck into those. So get playing. If you find out what that mystery rainbow one is for, please drop us a tweet at Felcraftcasts. People will go nuts for that kind of info and would love to share it with as many people as possible. Just get rid of the card backs. And that, for the time being, are most of the major changes that are coming in with this, the launch of Hearthstone yesterday on Monday and today being Tuesday. We've gone through the balance changes. There are some other bits that they're not very visual, but a reconnect feature has been added, which is absolutely fantastic. So obviously it was an open beta, and I had a few times in a beta, and it happens, right? You know, people are testing things out. If you send a game into open beta and you have millions of people subscribing and connecting to it, they're not live till next month. What is this? I love it that people are correcting me. I love it that people know what they're talking about and I don't. Let's have a look. Very true. Next month it is. Fantastic. I think that we actually need Anthony Vardis, the fantastic Anthony, to come in and simply do this for me and let me play the game instead. Well, hopefully they're live soon. I'll have to go and have a look, but I have no reason to doubt that. The patch notes don't say. They don't say. I should read the blue tracker a little bit more. Going back to the reconnect feature, in terms of staying connected, there are plenty of times where I have dropped off at some point or another in terms of my connection or in terms of the Hearthstone server, but it's really, really good that you can just try and reconnect. 60 seconds you have to relog back into Hearthstone, so if you have a PC problem, you're going to have a fairly fast booting PC, so you know, 60 seconds is better than nothing. Naturally, if you have that time period too long, it will be quite hard. You know, if you're sitting there as an opponent and your opponent's disconnected, to sit there and just be playing through and not doing a huge amount. But 60 seconds is good, and I'd rather have a reconnect feature than no reconnect feature as well. The also other interesting thing on the patch notes is that you can actually swap your region. So if I wanted to go and play Americans in the American regions instead, or I wanted to go and play Asia, you can actually just change that in the Battle.net desktop app. So your progress is not cross-transferable across the regions. So if I played loads on Europe and I decided I want to go and play in Asia for some particular reason, I'm not going to get all of my friends, I'm not going to get all of my progress, and also, very importantly, the card collection as well. So you effectively, if you decided to play in 3 different countries, you'd have 3 different collections, 3 different sets of friends, 3 different sets of progress on all your heroes. So I've no doubt that you know, guys who want to be pro players and a bunch of people will get stuck in all the regions in a big way. But it's good to know that you can play in another region if you fancy it, which is always cool. There are probably going to still be some bugs, but keep reporting them. That is the main thing. The game's going to evolve, there's still going to be a few fiddly bits, so keep enjoying it and keep reporting those bugs too. Another interesting one that came up on the notes, you can't have more than 20,000 gold. I've never ever actually seen 20,000 gold in my Hearthstone life, but it's great to know that you can earn that much if you go totally nuts. But basically the reason for it is that apparently they just don't want people farming gold and farming gold in naughty and bad ways. Naughty, bad things that people shouldn't be doing. I've no idea what they are, I could guess, but we don't want to encourage people to break games, that's boring. And above all, it gives people an advantage that they shouldn't have. There shouldn't be any gold farming or anything in this. And that, for this time, is that. In terms of have a little look at a few of the other patch notes, what do we have? We've got a few things there. So the Angry Chicken rank now starts with 0 stars instead of 1. Arena Awards at 10, 11 and 12 wins no longer reward common non-gold cards. That's a nice change. If you've been pulled together an amazing arena run, the last thing you want is sort of a common card, I think, so that's quite nice. Makes sense, rewards you in a bigger way for your amazing arena streak that you managed to pull together. A few tweaks to visuals as well, new card effects. I'm looking forward to finding out all of those and a bit of gameplay and similar things. And Minions who have taunt and stealth now have an effect that more clearly indicates that taunt is temporarily disabled during stealth. Interesting. Gonna have to jump in and find out what that is. Mass disenchanting now has new and improved graphics. Now you can mass disenchant in style. I wish to mass disenchant. Okay, I'm gonna click. Shall we see what it is? Ooh. Ooh, that is a shiny new effect. And not only do all of the little things zoom down, but they all flow into the corner. My grand 295 dust. I'm not entirely sure how much that's going to buy me. Pretty much nothing at this point in time. They've actually managed to fit a Doge meme. So challenge. The UI that pops up when challenging a friend to a duel has been improved. Minions that have been blessed by Blessing of Wisdom now show the lightning bolt trigger. And what else do we have? The Expert AI has been sent to Hearthstone training camp and should now be more challenging. Well, that's good for new players as well. It's good to play against an AI before jumping into the game. So that's really good news. If a player's deck contains all golden cards, a golden coin will complement your deck if you happen to go second. There won't be many people out there that applies to, but I'm sure that will. For all of those people who have all golden cards in their deck and then they get given the coin when they go second and it's not gold, I'm sure that is going to make some completionists, collectionists, very hardcore players incredibly happy. But you know what? If I had all golden cards, I'd love to have a golden coin as well. So, hey, I can mock it, but I totally get it. It's quite a cool change. Unlucky hero now plays that hero's emote. Well, nice to meet your heroes. Secrets can now only activate on your opponent's turn. Activating your own secrets feels a little strange, but mostly the ability to do this was preventing us from creating new and powerful secrets that trigger off events you can easily control. Like a minion dying, they end up functioning just like spells instead of trying to bait your opponent into a bad play. This change keeps secrets working like traps you lay for your opponent instead of spells that you cast and use on your own turn. That's very interesting actually, and I would have thought that they actually would have called out that change a bit more loudly. I've never really seen it played at the level that I've been playing at. I've not pushed up all the way to the really highest ranks. But yeah, I can see some situations where you want to activate your own secrets. So take a hunter, for example, with Explosive Trap. Explosive Trap, of course, if your hero's attacked, if your hunter hero's attacked, then 2 damage is dealt to all enemies. So instead of waiting for someone to attack my hunter hero, so I wanted to trigger my own Explosive Trap, and then maybe if I was playing against a Murloc deck, wipe out all of the low health Murlocs, effectively use it on myself as an AoE. There's ways that could happen, various mind controls and things like that. So interesting actually. So yeah, I can see why Blizzard have done that if that's their goal, but at the same time, interesting that has kind of sneaked in as sort of a more quiet change in the gameplay piece. But it's good. Secrets are an interesting mechanic, and they do make you think, even in their current form, when you see a secret hit the table on an opponent's go, as to whether you should attack the hero or not, whether you should lay minions or not, even in some cases, all of the different triggers that there are. So I think that more secrets are an interesting dynamic. So it'll be good to see what happens with those. Card changes, we've gone through those. There are some bug fixes as well, which I'm not going to read through all of them. Some very, very interesting ones. I will grab the full patch notes and I will share those on felcraft.org. So there's some interesting bits there. I'm just trying to see any that sort of jump out at me. The water elemental will now properly freeze armoured heroes as intended. That's an interesting one. Ancestral healing on a shaman will always attempt to heal a minion for its full health, regardless of how much health it has. Again, makes sense. Minions randomly swapping battle positions with other minions. It's a result of many factors and issues. Okay. I can see some circumstances where that would be awkward. If I'm dropping a card like a Flame Tongue Totem or a Defender of Argus, something that I want to drop specifically between a couple of minions to give the effects to those minions, it would be irritating if your minions were moving around. So, okay, that's a little bit fiddly. I've seen it once or twice. Cards now better respect personal space while in a player's hand. Similar to the minion swapping issue, there's other things causing that apparently. Oh dear, that's not great. Okay, what else is there? There's nothing hugely. There are some that are almost game break. Fixed an issue that prevented some accounts from joining play, practice, or friendly games if they have a custom deck in their collection. I think most people want a custom deck in a collectible card game. So nice one, Blizzard, for sorting that one out. Thankfully, I've never seen that. It must be pretty rare. But yeah, that's a good one to get fixed for launch, which is absolutely awesome. and all kinds of other bits there as well. Right, that is actually, we've gone through half an hour of the changes, so finally Hearthstone is live. The final thing that is really good to sort of shout out for this evening is that tonight and today it's Hearthstone Day, hashtag Hearthstone Day. You should go on Twitter and search hashtag Hearthstone Day and see all of the cool stuff. So Blizzard have got people in the community, way more illustrious people than myself certainly, but cool people out there in the community and casters, all kinds of things doing Hearthstone related stuff. They've got a little schedule. If you look for hashtag Hearthstone Day, they've got competitions and similar going as well. So get online tonight if you're watching this live, or if not, you should search for the hashtag Hearthstone Day and see some of the cool content that's out there and join in the fun. Loads of stuff going on. And so it begins. I'm actually quite glad, even though the game has been patched up, Blizzard haven't done a reset, so it's still level 20. And so the illustrious Felcraft grind and 0 to hero to get our first legendary will begin. So that is actually us for tonight's Hearthstone half hour. I'm sorry that we didn't get into our Arena Tuesday. For all of you guys tuned in, just to give you a little bit of a summary as to where you can find us and what we normally do. Mondays we normally do a more new player centric night, new to intermediate player, particularly for Hearthstone. So that's new player Mondays. We might go through creating new decks, we might go through basic strategy and tactics, and generally just sort of take a concept, run through roughly how it works, and then jump into a game and play it in a live environment. So we do the theory bit as quickly as we can, and then hopefully we show you it live in practice. So that is new player Mondays. We're always going to be here on Twitch. Tuesdays are generally Arena Tuesdays because it was launch day yesterday. We jumped in for this special patch update. Depending on how we get on this evening, we may be back on a little bit later and do Arena Tuesday, but generally we'll start a new arena every Tuesday and just play through as much as we can within our half hour. We know that full arena runs are very popular. We'll do some of those soon, but we generally want to go through a draft, so you guys get the draft of the deck. If you're a new Hearthstone player, probably useful for you to see a bit of drafting in action and how arena works. If you're a more experienced card game player or Hearthstone player, you can just have a good giggle at how we're getting on. And as always, you can help me as much as I can help you guys. So if you see anything you think we can improve, please let us know. Really, really appreciate it. That is Tuesday. Wednesday is Ladder Wednesday, and on Ladder Wednesday we've been playing a lot of Priest. I'm probably going to try out pretty soon either a lock-based deck, a mage-based deck, or possibly even a druid, because druid is the one I've really yet to sort of crack the real core of, but there have been some very strong druid competitive decks that I've both come against and seen in various tournaments going on. There's been the ESL, mana grind, loads of cool stuff. So on Wednesday we just get ourselves straight on the ladder with whatever deck that we are playing. Most of the time recently it's been Priest, but we will start using others, and really just see two things. One, how our decks are working in a competitive fashion, and secondly, last but not least, how we can improve our own play, and then also see what else is going out there in the more competitive landscape. As we get higher up the ladder, it will get more and more intense, and hopefully more and more useful and good for you guys who are trying to play to a bit of a higher standard, or certainly a more competitive standard. You can play at a very high casual standard as well. That is Wednesdays with us here on the Hearthstone Half Hour. Thursdays are just a fun day off, pretty much. What we will do is we'll play some fun decks, we'll go through some more strange things. In future we'll be setting you some challenges. We'd love to do some user submissions, a bit of a mailbag and things like that. So Thursday's a bit more of a Hearthstone day off, and Friday, if we stream on a Friday as well, then that is the Felcraft Friday, and it's a complete day off. We will play a game, but it could be anything from Pokemon through to other Steam games, through to something on a console. We play League of Legends and StarCraft as well. Love to play Heroes of the Storm, it's out. So that is our rough content schedule for a week. Last but not least, where can you find us? Thank you very, very much for tuning in. So if you are just getting into Hearthstone because of the release, or you've just found us, welcome. That is what we try to get up to on a weekly basis. So where you can find all of our lovely content, or at least we hope you think it's lovely. Firstly, you guys who are tuned in on Twitch, there is a wonderful little subscribe or follow button on our page. If this has been useful for you, or if you'd like to see more, any of that stuff we've just discussed, drop us a follow. If you're not signed up for Twitch, of course is absolutely free to have an account for. So if you sign up for a Twitch account, you can hit the follow button on our channel, and then that means you'll get an email update whenever we're going to go live. We tend to try and go live anything from 7:30 to 8 PM generally. That's GMT London time, Monday through Friday. So tune in on Twitch. You can see all of those things we just mentioned live. If you're not able to see us live, we are, of course, as everyone is, on YouTube, and that is youtube.com/FailcraftCasts. What can you find there? You can find all of the stuff we just mentioned, previous episodes, archived content, lots of good stuff, whether you're a brand new Hearthstone player and totally new to card games, you're an experienced card game player but you're new to Warcraft and Hearthstone, or maybe you're an intermediate player just looking for some different opinions on things. I'm not going to say they're all right or the best, but certainly different opinions on things and ways to approach. Maybe some of it will help you improve your game. Twitter, you can find us twitter.com/Felcraftcasts. We'd love to hear from you, so please drop us a tweet, drop us a follow, have a chat with us and tell us what you thought about the content of tonight's episode, or indeed any other episode that you find. We always love to talk Hearthstone in particular, Blizzard particularly, MOBAs as well, Dota, League of Legends, real-time strategy, PC games in general, console games in general, you name it, we love to talk about it. Any kind of gaming chat, but particularly if you've got any feedback, come find us there. And last but not least, our website, felcraft.org, actually has not only all of these videos with some surrounding blog articles, so anything that you see on Twitch or YouTube you will be able to find embedded on our website as a blog as well. However, the thing there is that we can store some stuff on the website that doesn't actually live so well in a video, so things like deck lists, things like more in-depth explanations and that we house on the website too. So thank you very, very much for tuning in. It's been great to have you all here. Please do give us some feedback. We always love to hear what we can do better for you, what you think was good, what you think also was bad. If you think there's stuff that we should just cut out, or ways in which I can improve my casting, we'd love to hear from you. So any criticism is good, as long as it's constructive. Quite happy to be told that I could do a better job. Just let me know how I can do that better job and how it'd be more interesting and exciting for you. Thank you very much for tuning into the Hearthstone Half Hour. I have been Hammy, and I really, really hope to hear from you soon. Great to see you. Really good to see you guys live and in the chat, and